Hello, here is just a quick video to show you guys how to access and use the HB4545 accelerated instruction log. This does not mean you no longer have to put things into Panorama. You still have to put the information into Panorama. This is just a better way to narrow down all of the information that you need to be inputting and put it into one place so that one, you can confirm that you are keeping track of the information with the district and anyone who would be looking for this information. And two, because now you're not having to flip between a bunch of different tabs when it goes to be time for you to put things into Panorama and then every 2-week frequency if you are required to do that. So this page, if it does not look familiar to you, it should, but if it does not, it is linked on the Dragon Hub. So you can find this MTSS quick links page there. When you open it up, down in the bottom right corner, you have a specific area here for House Bill 4545. And that third link right there is going to take you to the Google Sheets where you're going to be forced to make a copy. It does take a minute to load because it's kind of a dense document since it is linked to other add-ons. But there you go, pops up, make a copy. Give it a second to generate your new copy. This will save to your drive. But the first thing that you should do when you go in here, after this pops up in just a second, change it to your name so you're not struggling to find it. And then I recommend that you create a folder where you can save this to make it easier for you when you're finding all of these things. Now, I already have a folder set up, but let's just go through that process of setting up the name change and finding a place to put it. Well, I would put here, demo, dem, and I don't like that new template part, so I just kind of delete that. But you name it what you think you need to make it work for you. It's saved in my drive, but if I want to move it, I want to put it somewhere that I'm going to know what I'm looking for every time I come in here. Well, the way that I have it set up in my drive, I have each school year. So let me come over here, move myself. Come over here. I'm gonna reorganize this. I'll go find my school year, which is how I set things up. And then I actually have a folder for HB4545. You can see my template is in there. Now here is where I'm gonna put my demo. Now that I have that saved, I have it where I want, I have it named, I can start setting up the rest of this. Now what I want to do, I want to see this big blue box. I'm going to click on it. And that running script message that should pop up. You should see that. You'll give it a second. And then you'll get this authorization required message to pop up. Go ahead and continue. It wants to confirm who you are to make sure that the right people are accessing this because this is being sent into a central location. I'll just confirm that it's me. Give it access, say allow. Give it just a second. You're still going to see this box for a minute. Let it sit there. See, I got too antsy. I clicked it. Now it's going to try and run through all that stuff again. But if you let it sit there long enough, that blue box goes away and you should see this tab pop up. I'm not going to press anything yet. And I'm not even going to make a copy of this tab yet because I want to make sure that I'm saving myself as much time as possible. Some of this information is going to be exactly the same every time you submit this, every 2 weeks. So campus, for instance, let's go in and look. We are Southwest High School, so we'll find us. And to make this easier, instead of me going through and typing that for every one of my students, whether it's 5 or 35 I'm keeping track of, I am going to put my crosshairs on that little X, that little square, and I'm going to drag it down. Let's say I'm only doing this for 8 students. Now that saves me time, I don't have to type that in. Okay, this part is also going to be the same no matter what. This is going to be me. I am the teacher. I can do that again, drag my little crosshairs down. My ID number is not going to change. And drag my crosshairs down. All of these boxes have to be filled in every time you submit this, otherwise it will not work. And then I'll put today's date or the date that I am submitting this. Now here, if I drag it down, it's gonna change the year. Well, I just control, I scrolled all the way down. I just control C and then control V in each of the boxes that I'm going to be doing that in, and control V is how I paste. This is where I'll go in and put the student's last name. If you don't already have a list, then you'll have to type this in, but if you have a list, you can just copy it and paste it from wherever your list is. I'm just going to use some of the science department teachers as my students. And I'll just stop there. Those are my students. I'll have to put in their IDs if I know what that is. And so on. So you know how to put in the IDs. This is the part where you're actually gonna have to type in or paste it in if you already have this list somewhere else. Then you will go in and you will add the grade level. If they're all the same grade level, we can use our same trick of selecting one, grabbing our crosshairs, dragging that square down and saying they're all the same grade level. But if for some reason they're not, I see, oh, Miss Schamberger, she's not in the 9th grade, she's in the 11th grade, and Miss Obregon, she's in the 11th grade also, and so is Mr. Sowell. Then I'll go in and I'll select their subject. If they're all the same, click and drag. Should work. At this point, you can copy this page because now all the information that will stay the same can be carried on. Yes, you'll have to go in and change the date when you submit this again, but that's pretty easy to do. You can always leave this blank if you want to make your copies fresh and then add the dates as you go. What I would not do is change the master copy in any way. I'm just going to right click it, or you can double click with your mouse pad. Use 2 fingers to click down. It should work. Then you'll click duplicate. Give it a second to work. Rename your copy. I like to name them by the date that I'm submitting. There's my 1/27/2022. I can look ahead and say, okay, the next time I do this will be around February 10th. So I'll put that. And then I can just keep copying this out. Same thing, use 2 fingers, press down. You'll get that duplicate option and make as many copies as you need. Just make some copies ahead of time. Maybe leave them copy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if you don't want to get ahead at putting the dates on there. If you do what makes it work for you. So that's what I have. That's what it looks like. And the next time that I do this, I've already got my hours here. You're gonna have to go in and look at how many hours, how much time your students have logged in Edgenuity. That is the most meticulous part of this, going in, actually searching for their students, finding them, looking at how much time they've spent, and then logging it in here. But if you did like I did, you put in all of this first bit of information, columns A through H, then that'll save you a lot of time. It just takes a little bit of effort to go in on Edgenuity, find the students and find how much time they have been logging. If your students don't have any time logged, then they really need to make sure that they're in the correct courses on Edgenuity, that they're actually working on it during CCR, or that they're visiting with me or someone else who's doing the House Bill 4545 tutoring after school in the cafeteria Monday through Thursday. Hopefully this was helpful. You were able to see, how do I make a copy of this? Where do I save it? What's the best way to file? And how can I fill in this information effectively, then make copies that aren't going to make me have to spend tons and tons of time re-entering or reworking this information every single time I need to import more hours. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. And I hope that you are great. I will stop sharing. Oh no.